Hi guys, today B3Comics is going to be reviewing the new Star Trek movie, Into Darkness.
So if you haven't seen the movie already, there's going to be spoilers, so stop watching. So first off, why don't we have some general impressions? What'd you think?
I thought overall it was a really beautiful movie to look at. It had some great imagery. I especially loved the forest scene in the beginning, but my biggest problem with it was that it was kind of cheesy.
It was a little bit cheesy, but as a fan of the original TV series, really all the Star Trek series, I liked it. I thought it did a good job of, connecting to that while still being something fresh and new. Obviously the villain was Khan. What did you think of Khan in this?
Oh man, I absolutely loved him. The actor, Benedict Cumberbatch, was amazing. I think he was the best part of the movie.
They gave him a lot of character development, which I thought was kind of cool. I actually started sympathizing with him a little bit, especially since he, at a certain level, he was just trying to save his crew, which is no different than what Kirk was trying to do.
The first villain that they had in the first Star Trek movie, it was pretty much a clear-cut villain.
Yeah, Nero he wanted revenge, so he's going to destroy every Federation planet.
Yeah, and in this movie, you don't even find out till much later that their really mission was to basically eradicate anything they viewed as being inferior to them. So for the longest time, you really sympathized with Khan.
I think my one criticism with how much character development they gave him was it maybe took away from some of the other characters I thought should have had a bigger role.
In particular, I thought that the daughter of the Admiral was kind of really just tacked in there as a gratuitous, just, something to look at, where she's in her underwear. That was just gratuitous.
Her father, Admiral Marcus, seemed to be part of Section 31, which was a nice reference to the original series. I think most people probably remember Luther Sloan from Deep Space Nine and how he's always trying to do shadowy stuff and bring Bashir into the mix. I thought maybe Uhura should have gotten a little bit more. She had a minor little role on both the planet at the beginning and when they go to Kronos.
Mm-hmm.
But she could have had more. I thought that McCoy definitely should have got a lot more screen time.
McCoy just had amazing lines throughout, and he really was just the same line over and over again, though. He just, they kept referencing his old lines of, God damn it, I'm not this, I'm a doctor. And he said that so many times in this movie.
And also, he was the one who, saved Kirk at the end, so why didn't they focus more on him? Just kind of baffled me.
But speaking of Kirk, he did get a lot of development along with Spock, specifically their relationship. In the beginning of the movie, they sort of established that Kirk is willing to do almost anything to save his friend Spock, but Spock doesn't really seem to reciprocate it until he finally sort of gets it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, really that's what the original series of Star Trek is all about. It's all about Kirk and Spock and kind of their bromance, I guess you would say. And there's the scene at the end where after Kirk goes into the warp core, which we'll get back to because that was kind of ridiculous. But when he's dying and Spock is on the other side of the glass, and they kind of have that moment between them, and then Spock realizes that as Kirk's dying, his human side takes over. He screams out Khan.
Yeah. I kind of was surprised at how emotional Spock was in this movie. And I'm kind of on the fence of how I should feel about that. But I do like the chemistry between the two actors on screen. You did bring up the warp core, and that was just a baffling scene to me. So, he can go into it. And two, he's able to fix it by just kicking it over and over and over.
Like the most sophisticated piece of technology on the Star Trek. You just kick. That's how you fix it.
I know. What do you think people go to school for? Rocket scientists and stuff. All you gotta do is kick stuff to make it work, apparently.
Yeah, and the fact that you could actually go inside of it and you wouldn't die immediately was also baffling because I think that's supposed to be plasma energy in there. That's powering the entire ship. You can't just walk into an active nuclear reactor.
I mean, it did have a couple other faults. I did find fault with how quickly Kirk comes back after he's presumed dead.
But you knew he was going to come back because they saved the girl at the beginning and
they
the Tribble.
I just think that, if they had left it, like you let that dramatic feeling sit for a while. I kind of always feel cheated when a movie kills off someone, but then like a few minutes down the road they just bring them back, and it's just like all that feeling you had just immediately dissipates, you know? And I think that's just kind of, it's like cheating. It's a trick.
I think the only reason they wanted to kill him was because it kind of flips the original Wrath of Khan movie upside down.
Yeah.
Where Spock dies, and then they spend the next movie searching for him, getting him back.
I like the reference to the Tribble at the end. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they actually, in the comic series that leads up to this movie, they already had their Trouble with Tribbles episode, where the Tribbles are taking over the ship, and they have to figure out a way to slow them down.
Alright, so what would you give Star Trek Into Darkness as a grade?
I'd give the movie a 3.5. I still like the movie, and it's definitely worth seeing in theaters, but it wasn't quite as good as the first.
I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I felt the Kirk incident was a little bit cheesy, especially how quickly he comes back, and I did feel that the movie kind of dragged on towards the end, especially after the climactic moment between Spock and Kirk. But overall, it was still a solid movie, and this is exactly what summer movies are about. A lot of action, great sci-fi.
Let us know in the comments what you think about this movie. We'd love to hear.